Hey everybody, welcome back to the Sonic Chronicle. It has been a minute or two since I recorded a video and uploaded a video to the channel, but I thought that this would be an appropriate time, specifically because there is a new album out. If you're watching this video, you know what that album is, but Taylor Swift released a new album, Life of a Showgirl. And we are going to review this one because we also reviewed Tortured Poets Department when that came out. Mercifully, this album is shorter than Tortured Poets Department by a long stretch, thankfully. And it's so far, it hasn't released a second part. So, you know, that is a small mercy. I hope you have been keeping well in my absence, but as usual, if you like this video or you like what I do generally, like this video, subscribe to the channel as well because that helps me out massively, and people have still been subscribing while I have been absent, so that's mind-blowing and that is amazing, so thank you all so much for providing that support. And of course, leave me comments in the comment section below if you agree with anything that I talk about here, if you disagree with anything that I talk about here, which is likely, or if you just want to talk about stuff generally, you know, I'll be happy to do so. I'll be happy to converse with you about different bits and pieces in the comments section below. With that said and done and out of the way, let's get started. Let's talk about Taylor Swift's The Life of a Showgirl. I'm going to be doing this the same way that I generally do reviews these days. I'm not going to play snippets of the songs or what have you. I'm just going to be talking about the songs individually, and we'll go down through the full track list. And that's how it's going to go. Because if I don't do it that way, YouTube will get really mad at me and will hit my channel with copyright strikes and so on. And yeah, this is the only way I can really do full album reviews, sadly. Anyway, track number 1 seems to be the song of the moment. This is The Fate of Ophelia. For me, this starts out like it's a song by Gavin James. Gavin James is an Irish artist. A very popular pop artist who plays guitar, not dissimilar to Taylor Swift. And it kind of sounds a little bit like John Legend as well, and then very, very quickly moves off of that theme, and it effectively becomes Mercy by Duffy. The bass line within that song is identical to Mercy by Duffy. If you don't believe me, go ahead, pause the video here, but definitely come back to it. Open up a new tab, listen to Mercy by Duffy, listen to Fate of Ophelia by Taylor Swift, and you'll get that, right? And that same bass line continues throughout the whole song. It doesn't change it up, really. In the choruses, it rises up a little bit, has a little bit more energy, but overall, I feel like it misses a lift, something to really put it up over the top. The backing vocals are strong, the lead vocals are fine, but again, I think that it misses like a big pop to put it over the top. For me, it's a bit of a bland, forgettable pop song, aside from the nods to other better crafted pop songs. Track 2, Elizabeth Taylor. Wow, this one really shocked me, frankly. Immediately, it was more intriguing as a song compared to Fate of Ophelia. Like, there was foreshadowing of the chorus as the intro. There was some lovely string work in there to accent the piano chords, and I believe Max Martin was involved with that aspect of the album throughout, which is interesting to see. 40 seconds into the song, kicks in properly, and this is really, really cool. Dark, heavy kick drums, claps, dark and heavy piano chords, juxtaposed with bright piano trills. The second chorus has an unbelievably cool bass line, and you know, whoever put that down was minimal but made very interesting note choices as part of that. And frankly, throughout the whole song, the chorus took me by surprise, and it's a moody song throughout. The middle section, it doesn't kill the momentum, but frankly, I would rather that it wasn't there at all. I want more of those dark, ambient, threatening kind of vibes. And really, this is a contender for, if not the best song on the album. And that's a very, very strong song. Track number 3, Opalite. I believe that is another single off the album that she has released. And Opalite, there's some guitar chords being strummed very lightly to start this one off, a very simple bass line. So it's back to this light pop. You know, it's disappointing given how strong Elizabeth Taylor was, but not unexpected, I suppose. The chorus is a bit better, certainly compared to Fate of Ophelia, but it is a bit saccharine. The chord structure is a bit by the numbers. It feels like it's designed to be as accessible as possible. In some ways, feels like it's designed to sell as much as possible. For me, the strongest and most interesting part is a vocal build, right, around the 3 minutes 10 seconds mark. But aside from that, it does very little for me as a song. Just very flat. Father Figure is track number 4. And really, from the outset, it feels like it's trying to recapture that darkness from Elizabeth Taylor, but with a more major sound, right? So the edgy kind of threatening vibes of Elizabeth Taylor will never work because it's a major scale. And really then the chorus kicks in and it becomes very, very poppy again. And the song never kind of grows or loses that poppiness from that point forward. Has some really awful attempts at being edgy in this song as well. Like the lyrics are bad. I'll be your father figure. I drink that brown liquor. I can make deals with the devil because my dick's bigger. Very clumsy, very crude, and I wouldn't even say effective as a tool or as a way to kind of get a point or an idea across within the music or within the song. What I will say though is that having listened to the lyrics and listened to the song, it feels like it might even be, a song about her actual father and family managing her career since she was a child, and how, I suppose, involved her family is, about how involved her father is in her career, and possibly even, a lament to the loss of a childhood there somewhat. Max Martin again involved in this one. I'm sure that he's enjoying the royalties. What I will say about Father Figure though is that, having looked it up online, people seem to be in agreement that it's about the record companies rather than her father and his management style. But it is what it is. Very, very similar ideas there. That could have, I suppose, been a little bit deeper or had a little bit more depth to it if it went a little bit more inward facing than external facing. Track number 5, the first true ballad on the album, doesn't work for me. I don't think ballads are a strong point for her. They may have been in the past, but I don't believe they are at this point in time. The song is boring. It doesn't go anywhere. The middle is the same as the chorus, but mixed louder. Very bland. And frankly, We All Dressed Up Like Wolves and We Looked Fire is a terrible lyric. It's just bad. It's not good. Moving on. Number 6. We're halfway through now. Ruin the Friendship. Starts off with a beautiful P bass tone. Really takes center stage over the strummed chords. Really, really great choice in terms of the mix, in terms of the arrangement there. And the vocals, they lift. It adds in piano underneath the vocals in the chorus to really elevate the sound. Great choice, really adds to the song. Overall, though, I feel like this suffers from something most other songs on the album do too, in that it doesn't do enough to differentiate parts. Very little changes, makes it feel very, very boring, and even in parts that should be very exciting. And that comes back to that idea of things feeling really, really flat that I talked about earlier. Again, disappointing, but was another criticism that I had of Tortured Poets Department, actually. So it's an unfortunate trend. Track number 7, Actually Romantic. This song blew me away a bit, right? But it's because the song is such a tease, right? It's the first song on the album that really seems to have feeling behind it. Now, I have been told that this is a diss track that was aimed at Charlie XCX, and frankly, all I can say is, start more fights if this is going to be your output, right? Because this is a strong song. A good song that could have been taken to the next level, though. And by that I mean that, over the course of this song, just include a distorted electric guitar, even just in the choruses, right? Introduce it at some point, right? And this could be turned into an exceptional pop-punk song. Super, super easy, But it's because of that withholding of the distorted electric guitar, that it doesn't quite get there, and that it doesn't quite have that big vibe to it that it could do very, very easily. And that's a real missed opportunity in my opinion. It's up there with Elizabeth Taylor as one of my favorite songs on the album, despite those criticisms. Track number 8 is Wishlist, WI$HLI$T, is I believe is how it's stylized. Another ballad, bit of a hip-hop twist, boring song about ideals and desires. Best part is the bass line around 1 minute 20 in. Just sucks. Track number 9, Wood. Jackson 5, Stevie Wonder style inspired song about Travis Kelce's penis. It is very heavy-handed and it is not particularly clever. Moving on. Track number 10, Cancelled. Another dark song. Funnily enough. Surprisingly dark. Minor chords with a big reverb to make them feel as though they're hanging in the moment. Possibly a rubber-bridged guitar as well. Got a nice driving beat. Really reminds me of The Way I Are by Timbaland in the choruses, which isn't a bad thing in my opinion. I think that's a really well put together song. The middle drops out everything except the strings and some distorted kicks. Works really, really well. It's well produced. The final outro chorus has a real pulsing synth with big orchestral drums. And again, this is up there with as a contender for the best song on the album for me. Track number 11, we are on Honey. Real poppy piano chords open this one, right, along with a synthy drum beat. Vocals and the different styles of performing lines combined with the fade-in backing vocals really allow her to shine as a performer, which is great to see. Plus, there's a random oboe in there, which was a little bit jarring, but was more of a, oh, cool, rather than a, oh, what's that doing there? Which is a nice touch. This one it won me over more and more on subsequent listens, which doesn't typically happen to me with Taylor Swift or pop songs generally. This one is a bit of a sleeper hit. And track number 12, finally, the final track on the album, Life of a Showgirl, the title track, featuring Sabrina Carpenter. Kitty, pretty, witty, key to the city, hardly lyrical exceptionality. It's really to be expected that Sabrina Carpenter would be involved in this record somewhere, right? T-Swizz tends to have a number of featured artists somewhere on the albums. Sabrina being the current pop darling, it makes sense. I don't really hold too much against that, or put a ton of stock in it either. There's not a ton to say about the music here. It becomes more orchestral towards the end, but something about it kind of misses the mark. It's not particularly uplifting. The middle part feels like it's from a musical, like something from Chicago or Moulin Rouge, which would be fitting thematically. Very middle of the road kind of song here. Overall, as an album, for me, this is a bit better than Tortured Poets Department, right? For me, Tortured Poets Department had a 25% or so hit rate in terms of songs that I would describe as good or passable. Though I would be hard pushed to remember the names of those songs since I did the review, which is not a great sign. This one seems to be a little bit better with a 33% or so hit rate. There was 4 songs on there that I quite enjoyed, rather than the 25% before. If songs like Wishlist and Wood weren't on there, we'd be closer to a 50% hit rate. But realistically, this album isn't aimed at me. Let's be honest about that. This album is really kitsch, right? I don't think it has any self-awareness to say that this pop stuff was purposefully done here. It's very flat, very bland throughout, and seems as though it's trying to meet the lowest common denominator here, to appeal to as many people as possible without offending anyone. Bit of a shock that Max Martin was involved here and didn't make much stand out at all. A lot of his work was done around strings and synth strings, from what I understand, but still, as I said earlier, I hope he's enjoying those songwriting credits and the royalties that come with that. This is an album that will sell millions. It's already had an awful lot of radio play. This is going to pay for her wedding many times over. As an album, it has a number of swings towards actual art, but just stops short of being artistic, opting instead for that mass appeal that I referred to earlier. Overall, I will give this album a 3 out of 10. I don't normally do scales, but I think that this one, having gone down through it and identified the songs that I liked out of the 12, we're going to go with a 3 out of 10, which isn't a great turnout. But that is it. That is where I stand on Taylor Swift's latest album, The Life of a Showgirl. And if you like this video, please do go ahead and hit the like button. Leave me comments in the comment section if you disagree with stuff that I talked about in terms of T-Swizz or T-Swizzle or Tay-Tay or whatever you want to call her these days. I'm happy to have conversations. No problems there. Of course, subscribe to the channel if you like what I do and you want to see more of my kind of stuff in the future. It's not often that I cover these kinds of albums, but this is going to be the biggest album of the year. I thought it would be remiss if I didn't talk about it, given that I spoke about Tortured Poets Department as well. But yeah, if you want to see more album reviews, regardless of genre, feel free to subscribe, and I'll be doing more guitar stuff, I'll be doing guitar string stuff, I'll be doing lots more stuff in the near future. So that's to look forward to. But with that said and done, thanks again for sticking around and for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.